Hey guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do a Top Wednesday video super late. So today I'm doing my favorite books of 2018 so far. I picked 5 books to talk about today. Books that just really stuck with me for a while after I read them. And so I just consider them to be some of the best that I've read all year. So the way that I did this is I can't really rank them from my top to my bottom because they're just all so different and unique. So I'm just gonna kind of go in the order that I read them. And so without further ado, let's get into them. So the first book that I am picking is City of Dragons by Robin Hobb. This is the 12th book in the Realm of the Elderling series, and it's the 3rd book in the Rainwild Chronicle Quartet. And I can't tell you too much about it because it would spoil you for literally everything. But basically what it is it's following our same crew of Elise, Leftrin, Mara, and Cedric. I believe those are the 4 we're following still. And it's just a continuation of their journey to find Kelsingra, which is an old dragon city. But the thing that I absolutely adored about this book was really how it starts to tie everything in from all of the previous series of the Realm of the Elderlings. Because so far we got like a little piece here and a little piece here and then some other things that happen over here, and it just finally starts to get tied together, and it's just so good. It's definitely one of the shortest books of the entire series, but there is so much packed into this one book that you just can't help but love everything about it. I just adored that book, and I can't believe I'm almost done with that entire series. I'm in the middle of the second to last book, and if I was done with that book, I can tell you with 100% certainty that that would be on this list. It's phenomenal, and that's Fool's Quest, which is the 15th book in the Realm of the Elderling series and the 2nd book in the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. The next book I read was Animal Farm by George Orwell. Now, I don't know how to describe this book except for that it was written using farm animals, and they literally overtake the farm from their human owner, and they go through different forms of government throughout the entire book. Anywhere from a democracy to a dictatorship to communist rule to just everything. And it's super short, but it's so relevant and so powerful. I couldn't stop thinking about or talking about this book for probably like 3 or 4 days after I finished it. It's phenomenal. If you guys haven't read any George Orwell books, I'd highly recommend at least picking Animal Farm up. Out of all of the ones that he's written that I've read so far, just pick up Animal Farm and come talk to me about it. Now, the 3rd book that I read was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. And I also absolutely 100% adored this book. Sanderson's world building and his writing style are some of the most phenomenal I have ever seen, read, experienced. It's so good. And he literally put such a beautiful and incredible fantasy story into one book. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And it's only like about 600 pages, which for all of the stuff that he talks about and does in that book, you'd be surprised that he was able to pull it off. And it was his debut novel. It's so good. The characters are really fun. The world building, as I said, is phenomenal. It's some of the best that I have seen in a long time. And the storyline was interesting. I mean, he literally hit everything out of the park. I really, really enjoyed Elantris. Basically what it's about, oh God, how do I describe this? A young prince is taken into the city of Elantris. His bride-to-be comes from a faraway land and is trying to fit in. And then there's a high priest who is there trying to convert people to his particular religion. And it basically follows those three characters and their different storylines and how they all tie together. All of their storylines are surrounding the city of Elantris, which was the home to basically godlike people. But a plague fell over it 10 years prior, and nobody knows what happened. And as the story unfolds, we get to uncover that mystery and just figure everything out. And it's, as I said, really quality work. The fourth book that I read this year, and this is probably to date my favorite of the entire year, except for the one that I'm currently reading, which will probably overtake it. But that book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. For those of you who don't know what it's about, this book is follows the love story of Patroclus and Achilles, who are characters and figures from Homer's Iliad, and it follows, as I said, their love story. They were in many different sources, as well as in the Iliad, if you were looking properly. It portrays their romantic and sexual relationship. They had a very, very deep bond. And it follows them from the time that they're children, about like 8 or 9, all the way up to their deaths. Yes, they do both die. Spoiler. But it's so incredibly well done because, especially as a classic student, I really, really appreciated how she took these two characters and really just fleshed them out and made them their own thing. I mean, they were somewhat explored in the Iliad, but it was nowhere near what it should have been. And so just the fact that we got to see them in this light was very, very beautiful. It was beautifully written. I cried. Just their love story is incredible and one of the best that I've read in a long time. So if you haven't read that book, definitely go pick that one up. And the last book, which is book number 5 that I read this year, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I haven't read such a good mystery book in a very, very long time. It was well written. The structure of the book was so good. The characters were all interesting. The mystery kept you guessing till very, very late in the book. I didn't figure it out like I normally do. Normally, I can figure out who the murderer was and kind of what happened within the first couple of chapters. Not this book. It kept me on my toes for a little while, and that is just so refreshing for a change. Even though Agatha Christie's books are a little bit on the older side, it was just so good. And I'd highly recommend going to really watch all of the reviews that I've done on every single one of these books. But anyway, those are the 5 books that I decided to go with for my favorites of 2018 so far. And I'll be curious to know, what are some of your favorite books from 2018 so far? Yeah, that's about really all I've got for you today. So as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads, which are both linked below. I also have other social media sites, such as a second Twitter, a Tumblr, and an Instagram that is travel-centric if you'd like. And I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye!